Hello and welcome back, future scientists. I'm Mr. K with Mississippi Public Broadcasting. And we're going to talk about something a little different today. These are called cladograms. This is a way to track common ancestor among different organisms. So let's go ahead and hop into it and see what we're talking about today. All right, so let's get started. Let me give you the definition of a cladogram first. So this is what a cladogram looks like. A cladogram is a diagram that illustrates the evolutionary relationship among various groups of organisms, displaying their connections based on shared traits and a branching tree-like structure. So again, the cladogram, what we're really trying to do here is we're showing the common ancestors. At each of these different nodes, that would represent a common ancestor. And what we're really looking at is shared traits. How this works is we'll put different traits along this cladogram. And where that trait is, it applies to everything that comes past the trait, but not anything that comes before the trait. So for example, you can see here that this says the very top or the rightmost part of this cladogram says humans. What we would do is we could put a little line right below humans and say something like bipedal. And what that would tell us is that everything on the right side of that cladogram has that trait. They are bipedal, but everything to the left of it would not be bipedal. And if that's a little confusing, don't worry. We'll look at some examples later on and even try to make our own. So to talk about cladograms in a little bit more detail, the structure here, cladograms are a branching diagram. It shows evolutionary relationships among species or groups based on common characteristics. At each node, each branch point or node represents a common ancestor shared by the species that branch out from it. The individual branches, those lines are extending from the nodes and they indicate evolutionary divergence. The length of the branches sometimes suggests evolutionary time or genetic change. So, cladograms. They are also showing shared traits. Organisms that share more recent common ancestors, the closer nodes are grouped together, and that indicates that they have more similarities than organisms connected by older nodes. Often there's an outgroup. So often an unrelated group, an outgroup, is included to provide a baseline for comparing evolutionary relationships. How you interpret these is the cladograms help identify how closely or distantly related different organisms are based on shared traits, and this illustrates the pathway of evolutionary descent. So when I see y'all later on, we're going to make our own cladogram. We're going to go through and put those shared characteristics there, and that's going to give you a really good understanding of how these works. Today, your teacher has some other work for you to do, so make sure to give that your best effort, and I hope everybody has a great day.